The glass cylinders are covered with pieces of filter paper. A solution of white phosphorus dissolved in carbon disulfide is dripped onto the filter paper. Watch and listen, focusing your attention on both the paper and the cylinders.
Palestinians endure a 16th day under fire, Israel's cabinet has been considering the next stage of its offensive. Doctors in Gaza's hospitals are now said to be seeing injuries consistent with the use of white phosphorus. Ayman Mohyeddin has more.
Doctors here, though reluctant to point the finger specifically at white phosphorus, say it is consistent with that type of substance, and they are treating those patients. But because of the sensitivity of the burns, it's difficult for us to go in there without the proper attire. But we are trying to make that. But here in the other wing of the Shifa Hospital, we have been speaking to patients, and many of them, obviously, as we've been reporting, women and children. I wanted to show you this one particular case, and we have to warn our viewers that obviously these could be disturbing images, but this is a 9-year-old Lu'ay Osama Subh. He was, at the time of a shelling that happened near his house in Beit Lahia, was struck along with 2 of his friends. They died, but he survived and is permanently now blind from the ammunition that he sustained. The doctors here say he's just one of the many cases that they've been receiving as a result of the shelling that happens continuously overnight.
At Gaza's main hospital, Al-Shifa, another tale of the pain of war. This boy was caught in an Israeli raid. We were told that the Israeli troops had gone back, so we went home. We took our food, drink, and clothes. My brother called my father and he left the house, so we waited for him. When he came back, we were hit. Some people came and pulled us out and wrapped us in blankets. We gathered near our mosque and they brought us to the hospital.
WP, or white phosphorus, is often used against targets, which can be destroyed by burning.
A U.S. Army training film explaining the basics of white phosphorus, a weapon that's been legally deployed on the battlefield for decades. Israel fired WP shells in the 2006 war in Lebanon, and now they've reappeared in the war on Gaza.
It is obvious that the Israelis are using white phosphorus. There's no other munition, nothing else on the battlefield that's going to look like that.
Israeli officials don't deny it, but add,
"We're very clear about that. We don't use any weapons whatsoever that are prohibited under international law."
In 2004, U.S. troops fired white phosphorus shells at Iraqi fighters in the battle for Fallujah. Though the command first claimed it was used only to illuminate the night sky or block the enemy's vision, it later admitted the shells were fired to flush out enemy forces so they could be eliminated by artillery. Once exposed to oxygen, it can burn the skin down to the bone and cause severe internal damage through inhalation. Even though no treaty explicitly bans it, WP used against civilians is a violation of international law.
So it doesn't matter what substance we're talking about. As long as the purpose is to cause harm through toxic properties, that is prohibited behavior.
Weapons expert John Pike doubts WP is being deployed in Gaza as an anti-personnel weapon.
If you wanted to use it widely and indiscriminately, it has the potential for producing large numbers of casualties, and we're simply not seeing that.
But Human Rights Watch warns that any use of white phosphorus munitions only magnifies the potential for further casualties among Gaza's civilian population. Tom Ackerman, Al Jazeera.
Burning bright the skies of Gaza. Israeli munitions that human rights groups say is white phosphorus. A deadly weapon illegal to use against civilians, now it appears landing on the people of Gaza. These pictures show what is believed to be white phosphorus in the heart of Gaza's neighborhoods.
We saw a bright flash of light in the evening and then saw all these sparks fall near us. The sparks were landing all around us and in our homes. Our mattresses caught on fire.
On the ground in Jabalia, home to more than 100,000 Palestinians, children unaware of the deadly toxin dropped on them, naively playing with the munitions. As adults look on describing the poisonous effects it has had on them.
It's the first time we see this type of weapon. It must be new and it seems like phosphorus. It's suffocating and has a deadly poisonous smell that I'm sure will cause a lot of sickness and disease on all the civilians here.
Now, those who've witnessed the attacks are calling on Israel to halt the use of white phosphorus.
These people must be brought to justice because they're just killing children and they're just killing women. They're innocent, they've done nothing. This is a sort of humiliation of all the international humanitarian law, and it's a sort of humiliation of the Geneva Conventions. I mean, and there's no way unless these people should stop this crime immediately in Gaza, and they must be brought to justice.
I've stood on the border of Gaza watching Jabalia as it's been hammered by white phosphorus over the past few days. It's very clear as you walk by the Israeli 155mm artillery batteries, they're handling American-manufactured white phosphorus rounds. They're fused. You don't fuse it unless you're going to use it. And I'm watching as the white phosphorus explodes in air in an airburst situation and comes down and covers the area of the refugee camp. It's not an illegal weapon, so why is Israel not saying that they're using it? I don't really get it. The problem, of course, is that while it's not illegal to use to cause smoke and create a smoke screen, it is illegal to use if you're going to harm a civilian population.
And in Israel's war on the densely populated Gaza Strip, it's the civilian population that once again seems to be affected by these munitions that are extremely flammable and can cause life-threatening burns when coming in contact with human skin. The Israeli military says the weapons it's using against Gaza comply with international law. But while the claim and counterclaim goes on, one thing is clear: the civilian population is suffering, and that suffering shows no sign of abating. Ayman Muhyiddin, Al Jazeera, Gaza.
I keep filming. Why?
It's for the tunnels.
Yeah.
The tunnels. Hundreds of people, it's going to be a massive.